Welcome to Trial of the Hollywood Sex Therapist Killer, the harrowing and tragic story of Dr. Amie Harwick, who met a tragic end when she was allegedly thrown off her third-floor balcony by her stalker and ex-boyfriend, Gareth Pursehouse. Found clinging to life, but later succumbing to her injuries, Amie's death has raised many questions, with answers to be revealed in court. Join us as we dive deep into the ongoing trial of Gareth Pursehouse, the man accused of this heinous act, and as we seek justice for Amie.
I did turn it off, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right, go.
Okay, so I just want to quickly establish that you wrote an investigative report on the 16th, right? The basic crime report.
I don't know if it was the 16th or the 17th, but yes, I wrote that report.
And then you wrote a closeout report on the 17th.
Again, I don't know the exact date.
But you did write a closeout
I did.
report. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I think it's important to just establish the date. Would it refresh your... I'll move on. It's fine. So you... Well, very, very briefly. It's incredibly... You're retired. You have a ton of experience. It's incredibly important to include all of the significant facts in your investigative report, right?
I'm going to check this argumentative and incredibly important.
Well, I think I know what the question is, as you asked it. It's important that you include significant material facts in your report, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the closeout report specifically gets sent to district attorneys who are going to make a decision on what charge to file and what to do in response to your investigation. Right?
I sent all my reports to the district attorney's office.
Including that one?
Including that one.
Okay.
Okay, but they're going to make a decision based on this closeout. And a closeout is a initial summary of what you believe the facts to be at that point in time.
Speculation.
Well, yeah, it is speculative. He sends all the reports. What they make a decision on, as opposed to just that report. I think they make it. You can't answer the question whether it's a culmination of all the reports as opposed to just the closeout report. But based on all the information they send, then you're probably correct. They decide what if any charges they're going to file.
And you would want to put all of the important facts in your reports to provide to the prosecution, right?
Yes.
And your reports in this case were complete, true, and accurate.
To the best of my ability, yes.
Ms. Harwick was pronounced dead at 3:26 a.m. on the 15th of February, right?
I believe so.
And when you arrived at 2086 Mound, you were aware that she had passed.
Yes.
Upon arrival, each detective checked in with Officer Garcia, who maintained the crime scene log. Right?
Relevant.
Sustained.
The prosecution, Mr. Avila, asked about the crime scene log specifically on direct.
I mean, it won't be, but I'm sustaining the objection.
All right. So paramedics had moved things in the patio area when they arrived, prior to you, right?
Foundation.
Do you know, sir?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was all done before I was there.
Sustained.
Whatever was done.
You don't know if paramedics moved the patio furniture?
He doesn't know, counsel. If it was moved, he can't say whether they're paramedics or police officers that did it. Do you know?
No.
Okay.
You didn't review body worn of the responding officers?
I did.
What?
I'm going to object as to the point of the question.
All right. Ask your next question, counsel.
So the point is, you don't know exactly what was moved and how in the prior to your arrival.
Correct.
You interviewed Robert Koshland on the 15th of February 2020 at 10 a.m.
Yes.
He told you about Ms. Harwick's Google Nest cameras in this interview.
Yes.
I have a number of photographs that I'd like to introduce that I previously marked, or actually I marked the numbers, but what's the next in order?
You. I didn't want to say double U because it sounds like the letter, so it's U, a U.
Okay, it's 13 photographs
13.
that I'd
Okay.
like to be marked as
1 through 13.
UU 1 through 13. Showing them to the prosecution. Yeah, that's all. No, they're not. It's their visitors. Okay. Can you just please briefly look through these and just look up when you're done? If I can remove that. So,
It's okay. I think I've seen that photo before.
All right. So, did you recognize all of those photos?
Yes.
And these are photos that were taken on the 15th
Yes.
of February. All right. So, publishing UU 13. So this is a picture of the balcony that's off of Miss Harwick's bedroom, right?
Yes.
This is UU12. This is just the other side of the balcony, right?
Yes.
UU11. This is the left side of the balcony looking down towards the patio.
Yes.
UU10. Also at the left corner, looking down at the patio
Yes.
from the balcony, right?
From the balcony. Yes, sir.
And there's some foliage, right? There's some leaves from the tree right there.
Yes.
And the tree, the branch and the leaves actually kind of come through the railing a bit, right?
Looks like it comes to the railing. Yes.
UU9. This is just also from that corner, right?
Yes.
UU8. This is a different angle of the railing, right?
Of the railing, the left side railing. Yes.
UU7. Same corner, but just a different angle, backed up a little bit, and there you can see some of the branches and foliage coming through the railing, right?
Yes.
UU6. Just a different angle, same balcony, right?
Yes.
UU5. That's the right corner.
Yes.
UU4, also right corner.
Yes.
UU3, middle.
Yes.
UU2. And that's the left corner again.
Yes.
And UU1 is the view of the balcony from the bedroom.
Yes, through the French doors. Yes.
Mr. Pursehouse was arrested on the 15th of February 2020, right?
Yes.
And he posted bail.
Yes.
And on the 19th, you and Detective Carranza met with Mr. Avila and another attorney, right? On the 19th of February.
Yes.
And the prosecution filed the case, right?
Yes.
And a court order was obtained authorizing
Objection
bail.
relevance found in 352.
No, it's just sustained.
I haven't even asked my question.
But your order was obtained for his arrest. Was that what was your?
Authorizing the bail bonds company to provide GPS tracking.
Okay, sustained.
All right. He was arrested on the 19th again, right?
Yes, he was rearrested, yes.
And when he was rearrested, he was being detained at a location by the bail bond agent.
Objection relevance.
Sustained.
On direct, you testified that the diameter of what you believe to be urine was 3 feet wide.
Yes, I did say that on direct.
Okay. Now, nowhere in your notes does it say anything that it was that large, right?
I don't think so.
Nowhere in your investigative report does it say that it was 3 feet in diameter, right?
I don't believe so.
Nowhere in your closeout report does it say that it was 3 feet in diameter.
Objection asked and answered.
Well, he's referencing different reports. Did you indicate that anywhere in any report that you may have generated?
No, I don't believe I
Okay.
did.
So your testimony today was the first time that this fact had been uttered.
I may have opined that position previously.
On direct, you testified that at 1:27, on the night of the February 15th, that the exterior crime scene log was created.
Yes.
And you testified on direct that it was because there had been a homicide,
Yes.
but she wasn't pronounced deceased until 3, I think,
Object as
26 a.m.
Argumentative.
Overruled.
Oh, so
She hadn't been,
she had not been pronounced dead
so she
yet,
was still alive at 1.
but the log
27.
the log was created at 1:27. Yes. You can create a log for whatever you want to create a log for. It doesn't necessarily have to be because of a homicide.
Well, I'm only asking you about that because on direct you said that it was created because there had been a homicide, but there hadn't been a homicide
I'm
at
going
that
to
point in
object
time.
misstates the testimony.
Does that mistake what you stated?
Yes.
Okay. Sustained.
You completed and submitted a request for serology and DNA analysis on the 16th of February at 8 in the morning, right?
Yes.
And you requested that the substance in the syringe be tested, right?
Yes.
So generally speaking, when investigating a potential homicide, if you want different kinds of testing done on physical evidence, you can ask the Forensic Science Division to run a wide variety of tests, right?
Vague as to what type of evidence.
Well, he's talking in general terms. Are you
Yes.
talking about blood, or what are you talking about?
In general terms, I think my question was clear.
Well, was it for blood, or was it for, in this case, syringe? I'm not sure.
I'll ask it again.
Okay.
Generally speaking, when investigating a homicide, if you want different kinds of testing done on physical evidence, you can ask the Forensic Science Division to run a variety of tests.
Vague as to different types of testing, different materials.
Can you dictate what tests should be run, whether fingerprints or serology or anything like that?
Yes. I would make a request
Okay.
for whatever it is I'm looking for.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to.
Okay, we got there.
And if they can't do it, then they can contract with other agencies to perform the test, typically, right?
Objection foundation.
Sustain. He can order the test. He doesn't know what they're able to do with it after that. Who makes that decision?
Well, no. If he says, like
Ask
in
it.
this case,
Ask
like,
it. Go ahead.
In
Ask
this
it.
case, let's do as applied. In this case, the Forensic Science Division's test of the substance in the syringe showed the preliminary test showed possible nicotine, right?
Do you know that?
I don't think that's correct.
Is it? Do you know that
Well,
at all?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Well, I made the request to find out what the substance was in the syringe.
Right, and then they ran
Let him
the
finish. Let him finish.
And then it came back non-narcotic, and then I believe there was a line that said possibly nicotine.
Right. The report said no controlled substances, right?
No narco, I believe is the way they phrased it.
No narco. Right. Like there are controlled substances that are controlled by the DEA.
I don't know about the DEA,
All right,
but
counsel, let's move on.
Okay. But in that report, there was also paperwork that showed that there was a test that showed the possibility that there was nicotine, right?
I would just say that in the lab report that I got back, it did have a line about nicotine.
Okay. And so, in this applied situation, the Forensic Science Division wasn't able to then run the confirmatory test, right?
Just a foundation.
All right, were you going to say correct?
I was.
Okay, so he says correct. What's your next question?
Well, and Mr. Avila asked an entire line of questioning about sending it to the FBI and the labs.
Sustained. Go ahead and ask your next question. Okay, so he says correct. Go ahead.
And so because the LAPD couldn't do that final confirmatory test, then you made the decision to send the syringe to the FBI for them to do it, right?
Yes.
So what I'm trying to get at is that the type of test that you run depend on the evidence. It's a case-by-case situation, right?
Just a day.
Yes, it's sustained. I mean, are you talking about the type? That's unclear, whether it's the type of test that you run versus the type of test a lab is capable of running. In this case, the lab was incapable of running a nicotine test. So I'm not sure where you're going with it. So
well, and then the detective had to make a decision. Okay, what do I do? They couldn't confirm the nicotine. So
right,
he
he
made
sent
a
it to the
decision.
FBI. Right.
And so that's an example of how.
Well, I'm going to
Let him finish. Go ahead.
That's an example of how, in a case-by-case situation, you have to decide, as one of the investigating detectives, what to do and how to solve these problems. Right?
Again, under 352, in this case, he decided to refer to the FBI. What happens in other cases, it's not relevant to this case. Suffice it to say that he made a decision to refer to the FBI. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's move on.
You had the syringe swab for DNA.
Yes.
On the 24th of September 2020, you transferred item 42, Ms. Harwick's laptop computer to the Cybercrimes Division. Is that correct?
I don't know if I did that or my partner did that, but it was done.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to look at the document showing the transfer?
Sure.
If you could just briefly review the document and look up when you're done. Did that refresh your recollection?
Not completely, but I see my signature on the checkout there.
And you transferred a number of items, but I'm only really asking you about item 42, which is a laptop. And you transferred it and you signed the piece of paper that you were the one transferring it, right?
Checking it out of property, yes. I'm sorry, sometimes I'm not really clear on your question, by the way, the terminology that you're using. Transferred, if you're asking, did I physically move that computer from point A to point B, or did I initiate getting this computer out of our property so it could be moved? So I checked it out, yes, but I don't recall that I'm the one that physically took it from LAPD custody to wherever it went to.
You didn't like walk the laptop over physically.
Right, correct.
Okay, I use the word transfer because this document's called transfer list,
Correct.
right? And transferring a piece of evidence from one location to another, it's important to establish chain of custody, right?
Correct.
Miss Bernstein-Lev and an investigator from the public defender's office requested to view and photograph pieces of evidence, right? That had been booked, right? Do you recall that?
I believe so.
And then you made various pieces of evidence available to them, right?
Okay, yes.
And you were present when they photographed that evidence, right?
I don't have a real clear recollection of that event. I'm sorry.
You don't recall Miss Bernstein-Lev and a big guy, investigator, coming by and taking photographs of pieces of evidence?
I don't have a real clear recollection of that. I don't. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't have a real clear recollection of that event 3 years ago or whatever it was.
You learned in the investigation in this case that Miss Harwick had these Google Nest security cameras inside of her home.
check foundation.
Well,
I'll withdraw it.
okay, all right. You can answer.
Yes.
And you learned the location of those cameras as part of your investigation, right?
Yes.
And did you document the location of the cameras?
I don't believe I did.
Okay. There was one in the living room, right?
I remember that one, yes.
One in the kitchen, right?
I don't remember.
One upstairs.
I don't remember.
And Miss Harwick's housemate, Michael Herman, told you that they existed, right?
Yes.
And that they collected audio and video, right?
No,
Yeah.
just a hearsay, unless it's for impeachment or something.
A piece of communication was provided to him that then affected what he did afterwards.
Did you do anything because of what Mr. Herman told you? I mean, I take it that after he told you that, you tried to secure the camera footage or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, I'll allow it.
And similarly, Robert Caution told you that you needed to get the footage from the cameras, right?
Yes.
And the first responding officers told you that they had seen notifications on her phone from her Google Nest account, right?
First responding officers?
The officers who first arrived at 2086 communicated to you that they had seen these notifications on her phone from Google Nest.
I don't recall that.
What's the next in order, Your Honor?
You are at double V.
Or wait, is it double W? Oh, wait, no,
Double
it's
V.
Okay. I'm excited for double W.
You're excited for that? It's BB.
All right, so this is just a single photograph. Publishing VV. Now, zooming in, is that circle, that black-looking circle in the corner of the living room, one of the Google Nest cameras?
Yes.
You're familiar with a preservation request, right?
Yes.
And a preservation letter requires organizations like Google to preserve copies of records pending the legal process, like search warrants, right?
Yes.
And there's actually a federal law requiring these companies to comply, right?
I'm not familiar with the federal law.
And you personally did not send Google a preservation request, right?
No, I did not.
To your knowledge, no one who was investigating the case sent Google a preservation request.
I don't know.
Let me ask you, counsel, just for housekeeping purposes, how much longer do you have?
I'm not going to finish in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. Can you finish in 10 minutes?
No.
Well, how much longer are you going to need?
Honestly, I think probably at this pace, I think a half hour, 40 minutes.
Okay. We're not going to finish. Your witness has to be here, unfortunately, for Mr. Masterson.
I think he's going to have to talk with me later.
Sorry. I apologize for that. Where are you headed back?
Tennessee?
Oh. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. They're not going to finish in time. So you want them back at 9:30 on Monday?
Yes.
Apologies.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
I understand.
Okay. You are excused. You can. Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe weekend. Try to stay healthy. We'll see you on Monday at 9:30.
More of the trial of the Hollywood sex therapist killer is on the way. Press subscribe now so you don't miss a moment of this riveting courtroom drama as we seek justice for Dr. Amie Harwick.